Hello, you're listening to Six Music, me and Russell Howard. Let's turn that down a little bit. How are you? Hope you're very well indeed. Sunday morning. All right, boys, how you doing?
Morning.
Good morning.
John and Sam there. Well, it's going to be. I'll be honest. It's been a fairly tense hour we've spent. The usual hour we do before the show. We don't talk to each other, and then we get on air and then we have a ramble.
That's about right.
That's false.
False? In what way?
I done a wedgie this morning.
Yeah, he wedged me before we started the show.
Was that why you screamed?
Yeah, exactly. We're just sauntering along.
Hijinks, and it wasn't even 9:30.
It really hurt though. It really caught me. We shouldn't be talking about this. We got our first complaint last week about. I probably shouldn't read it out, but I'm in that mood today. It says, "Can we?" No, shall I? Do you want to hear it? You don't want to hear it? Oh, it's pretty funny though. A man complained. We were talking about Winkies last week because John had his penis, let's call it what it is, brushed against.
We don't need to go over it again.
No, but the point I'm making, we had a little chat about it. It was very funny, and somebody complained because they didn't want to hear about John's penis at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is just quite funny that somebody's taken the time out of their life to get annoyed by your winky.
And look where it's ended up.
Exactly.
What have we learned? Never complain.
Never complain, exactly, because we'll just talk about it. In fact, we'll build it into a feature. Exactly. Yeah. So, I hope very well indeed. It's going to be a really good show. We've got basically, we're going to try and beat the January blues today. We're going to help you alleviate the dullness of January by playing some great records and trying to make you laugh. We've got all the usual features. Am I Normal, where we want you to text in or email your quirky habits you feel compelled to do. What you do if you're an all-powerful deity, and where you'd like to go and why for time travel. The number to text is 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. But we thought, in light of seasonal affective disorder, we'd try and tackle happiness. What makes you happy? What was the happiest moment of your life? And what do you do when you're really bored? That's essentially what we're going to get into today. So, share all that. Text us in, email us in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Does my voice sound all kind of roboty? Maybe it's just in my head, but it just... not at all. It's really disconcerting because hopefully it sounds normal, but in my earphones, all I can hear is that. I'm going to have to take them off. So, how's your week been, boys, anyway? Any good?
I'm not turning into a robot, so I can't really complain.
It's just really horrible, though. But when you hear your own voice, and, oh, God, is that what I sound like? So, do you ever do... Well, you used to do radio recordings of Rocket Radio.
Of course I did, yeah.
So, we know... but your voice is quite... In fact, we've got a new producer here today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Claire.
This is Claire. And Claire, how cool is this? Claire walked into the studio, strutted in, if I may so. Yeah. And said hello to me and John, which was quite nice, and then turned to Sam and went, "You're the guy with the voice." to which Sam
made
was
my
like,
morning.
"Yeah, it was fantastic." That you responded so graciously with, "That's correct."
You can't help but play up.
But we have, I mean, because Sam speaks very seldom, but when he does, it's in a sexy, gravelly tone, and it's really generated quite the, you've got a big sort of female listenership. Just talk to them now. Just a big shout out to her.
Hello, my personal army. Attack.
It's great though, isn't it? And we were saying that Sam's probably going to end up doing voiceovers. What would be your dream voiceover job?
I just think I'm made for Boots, I think.
Isn't it easy though? Like, it's that great
Boots 2 for 1 sale.
Yeah, but if you've got a wonderful voice like that, you can get away with doing nothing because they get paid absolutely loads.
I heard
just
that.
to wander on and just kind of raddy on, get your whiter. How about you, John?
Radion?
Yeah. Right? Was it Radion?
No.
What was it?
But probably best we say Radion, and then we don't have any copyright breaches.
That's good.
Like, people are going to be turning up at Boots now expecting 2 for 1. There's no sale.
Which would be quite nice.
Ruined them.
What have you been up to this week, anyway? Anything fun?
I ain't done nothing this week. God, I hate January.
It's all right. It's not too bad. We played football this week.
I wasted too much energy between 9 and 10, wedging and jinxing about.
Yeah.
Because every week you say I'm in a bad mood, so I jinxed about. And then this week you said, God, you were jinxing about.
Well, the thing is, right, because me and John stayed at my brother's house last night so we could get in early today. And I said, let's get up at 8 o'clock. And he got really arsy with me straight away. He went, shall we get up at 8? Or shall we get up at 8:15? Like that.
But what happened this week?
We got up at 8:10. What's happened? Me and John have had quite an intense week where we spent a lot of time together, and it all basically, Sam, it stems from us watching Flags of Our Fathers, which I don't know if you've seen. We watched it at the cinema. I didn't really go for it. When I don't go for things, I've been told I fidget. John went, and we got out of the cinema. It was amazing. I went, what do you think of that then? And he wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't even look at my eyes. And you really enjoyed it, and we still haven't spoken about this, so I thought we'd chat about it on air.
Oh yeah.
What did I do?
Let's do it now.
What did I do that upset you? I want to know.
Oh, it's honestly not worth it.
Come on.
Just not.
I've been trying to get it out of him all week.
Taking a cat to see a film, and then the cat walks out and says to you, what do you think? And you know that anything you say, it's not really listening to you. It's just thinking about its next bowl of kitty cat.
That's correct.
You are... Premier seats, 12 quid.
Oh, yeah.
12 quid each, Premier seats.
Fantastic, it was.
Free popcorn, free drinks. 5 minutes in, text him.
Oh, that's simply not true.
Texty, fidgety, wee-wees, poo-poos, anything you could do to get out of that cinema.
That's
unbelievable.
The thing is, but I thought he wasn't enjoying it as well. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation when you're at the cinema and you think, oh, the person next to me, are they enjoying it? Are they not? Should I say something? Should we leave? So I just sent him a text, just went, are we walking?
No, you didn't. What did your text say, Russell?
I don't know, I can't remember.
It said perfume must be really expletive.
Oh, yeah, because anyways, we can't get to that, but we asked, it's the only time, you know when you get into those awkward situations where I went up to this really lovely girl behind the desk and said, excuse me, do you know what films are good at the cinema? And she looked at me like I was completely mad and went, they're all quite good, sir. Perfume, and it looks like I'm trying to hit on her in a really cheesy way, and I was like, no, just what's a good film for me to watch, me and my friend? And John's hanging back looking at me going, what an idiot. And she said Perfume or Flags of Our Fathers, and in the end we went with Flags of Our Fathers. I hated it. I wasn't in the mood though. I fell asleep halfway through. John doesn't know
Fell asleep halfway through. I heard you fell asleep for the first half an hour.
Did he tell you that?
Yes, he did.
It's so comfy. That's the thing about Premier seats. £12 and you just sink straight back into it.
Yeah.
I got diddled yesterday as well. I went to watch my friend Alan Cochrane at the Amuse Moose comedy show. It was brilliant, right? It's really funny. But we got there.
Did you get much texting done while he was
I
on,
didn't know. Well, you know, comedy's interesting, isn't it? We went there. And I was in a really good mood because I was meeting my friend Dan and Alan, and then I came out of the tube and I saw this homeless bloke, and it's you know when something really hits you and you go, oh no, I didn't kick him, Sam, please. But he had no shoes on, and you know when you sort of instantly kind of in January and it looked really cold, so I went on this mission and was kind of looking around to buy him shoes. I thought, you know, where can you get shoes late night in Leicester Square? So I was looking around and I went to all the touristy shops and they didn't sell any and stuff like that. And then I had this brainwave, went, socks, I'll get him socks. So I bought like 5 pairs of socks to act as like shoes. Went back and while I was there I bought him a scarf and a hat, but the only one they had was like a sort of a Chelsea hat, and I was deliberating, will he support Chelsea? It doesn't really matter to be honest. I got him a hat, went back with this bag and I couldn't find him. And you know, you kind of go and you're feeling really... And the horrible thing is you've slightly built it up in your head that you're going to be sort of portrayed as this, take the bag, please, it's okay, I'm off to saving others. And I couldn't find him, and so I was walking out of the tube quite dejected, right? And I saw him behind the tube just putting on shoes. Like that. So I've been totally scammed. And then sort of just handed him the stuff anyway, just would take it. And it's a really horrible situation of kind of going, but then that's fine, isn't it? That's quite a useful scam. And what would you do in that situation?
Nothing.
Nothing? Really?
No.
I can't help it. I just feel really bad. If I'm going to watch eat some Chinese food with my friends and I'm in a good mood and there's somebody with no shoes on, you've got to help in some way. But he played me like a fool. But well done him. Right, coming up onto
Jesus, that was it. That was PL, that.
What?
That entire story was PL.
No, I was aware of it, but it's that thing, you know, when you just think, oh, I'm going to do something, I can't, you know, I've got a bit of money in my pocket, and I give him like 70p anyway, and I thought, I'm going to buy him shoes. If you've got no shoes, I can buy him shoes.
Keep the hat though, yeah?
No, I gave it to him, everything. Jeez. Really good as well. I just felt compelled to do it. I'm a good guy like that. Hey, have you read Chronicles by Bob Dylan?
No.
Absolutely fantastic. I've told you about this loads, haven't I?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's a brilliant book. If you haven't, if you're listening, if you haven't read it, it's brilliant. It's his first sort of autobiography. It's about him going to the Gaslight and sort of playing in the folk clubs and stuff like that. It's absolutely brilliant. I would heartily recommend it. And it's really cool that we're on a radio station with Bob Dylan. How cool is that? Even though his show technically sounds like it's coming from his bedroom and he doesn't have to move. But,
have you listened to it?
And well, no, just from that trailer, then you just hear him. A lot of people talking about jail. Bad thing. It's just so cool, isn't he? Fantastic.
Let's talk about jail.
Yeah, well, that's it. But he's just got that. He's just got that tone where he can talk about anything. We can't talk about. I can go to prison.
I was in the clink.
I can talk about prison.
I was in Chino for a while back.
Seen some bad stuff.
Hey, have you ever done anything naughty that could have... what's the worst crime you committed? We can talk about that. Let's email that in, actually. Text us on 64046 or email russell.6music@bbc.co.uk. What's the worst crime you've ever committed?
Yeah.
Do you know, the worst thing I ever did, I was a shoplifter for a while back. My mum, this was about 8, I wasn't allowed 2 bits of chocolate, I was only allowed 1 bit, and I stole a Cadbury's cream egg. And I'd already got a curly whirly. How greedy is that?
How do you eat yours? Behind a wall in the dark with a fuzz miles away. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. Lovely touch on the end. But I had one of those big, horrible, waxy jackets, and I was walking behind, sort of occasionally putting my hand in my pocket to eat the Cadbury's cream egg and scoop it out. It was disgusting.
Oh, I had a horrible incident with the cream egg this year.
Go on.
Done put it in my pocket, didn't I?
Oh.
Stupid. It's such a non-Jon Richardson thing to do, that,
Correct,
to put a cream egg in your pocket. and then got in my car and drove from London to Bristol. By the time I got back, it melted in my pocket, all over my keys. Who puts a cream egg in the same pocket as their keys? I was furious with myself.
It's fine, that happens.
And then I panicked and flushed it down the toilet. I thought, God, I've blocked the toilet with a cream egg. I was in a bar and I thought the barman's going to come. It's a really trendy bar. And I thought, excuse me, has somebody put a cream egg in the toilet? And everyone would know it was me because I had cream egg under my fingers when I've been washing it off my keys.
That's unbelievable.
Goddamn cream egg.
The phrase that excited me in that little rant was, then I panicked and flushed it down the toilet. Which, let's hope that, do you do that with everything that frightened you? Oh, God, there's a cat in my garden. Oh, no.
Oh, no, I don't like cats.
No.
Funniest thing I ever did was with a cream egg, just knocking one out of someone's hands. It was a horrible thing to do.
Funniest thing you've ever done?
Yeah, I think so, to this day.
What happened?
Well, just someone was mouthing off about having a cream egg, so I only went to put it in his mouth and knocked it out of his hand. That's
perfect. We had a situation like that at college. Our friend Richie had a kebab, and he was the only one that had enough money for a kebab. And we were all kind of gathered around like vultures. Give us a bit, mister. And he wouldn't. And so as soon as he went to take his first bite, it always has to be just before the first bite, my friend Rob picked the kebab up out of his hand, threw it across this kebab house, and declared, 17 years old, "You sicken me," and sauntered out. But what made it brilliant was that he was dressed in sort of 70s gear, because we'd been to a 70s fancy dress party, and he was a little bit drunk, and 17, and yet there were all these sort of hard blokes around, and you could just see, fair point now, mate, you've got a kebab, you've got to share. Lovely stuff. Now, what I was going to tell you about this week, me and John went house hunting. Now, Sam, you still live in Ropley.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever done the whole kind of let's try and rent somewhere?
The let's rent thing? No.
Oh, so it's terrifying.
Nothing. Someone else.
We went in and we tried Putney, didn't we?
Yeah.
Lovely. We enjoyed that. John went mental, is what happened. We're having a lovely day. And then you got all excited, didn't you, about all the... There was a door that went... which sounded a bit like our friend Nobler's mum, who speaks like this. So the door, we found ourselves going in and out, just getting excited about the very noise that the door created. It's brilliant. But the most sort of terrifying thing about the whole thing was, on the way back from London to Bristol, I was asleep, which being asleep next to John's a terrifying thing, because you never know quite what's going... No, it is. No, because when I was on that plane, I woke up with those sort of fake cigarettes hanging out my mouth. Those, like, and then I woke up, and when you can feel yourself going to sleep in a car, it's not nice, is it? Because you kind of don't want to be asleep, and your neck's going to be hanging down like one of those ladies out the geography videos you used to see when you were 15. And I could hear him going to sleep, Howie. So you sort of slapping yourself, going, no, I'm fine. Going to sleep, Howie, little baby. Know what'll happen to you, don't you? No, John, please, just like, I'm really tired, mate. Just like, oh, you sleep, you'll pay. Like that. So it's very difficult but eventually you nod off. I woke up about an hour later, and all he had in his hand was just a little cigarette rolled like that. That he's kind of going...
Not a real cigarette, kids.
No, not a real cigarette. One that he'd made whilst driving.
Out of paper. I pulled over.
So I tell you what, let's do that as well. Text us in. What's the best stuff that you've had done to you when you're asleep, or like a friend's passed out at a party? That's always good fun, isn't it? How about you? What? The worst thing I ever had. I had my anal hair.
I witnessed this.
Yeah, set ablaze. I know, it was horrific. It was unbelievable. I was just there at a party, minding my own, and my mates pinned me down and set my sort of bum hair on fire. And the only time in my life it's been on fire. And my friend's mum came home at that exact moment to find me writhing around on her carpet, my rectum ablaze.
It was a hideous sight. It was a bit like a sort of a prison girl fight. It was properly kind of frightening.
A prison girl fight?
You had that air about you, I'll be honest.
It was terrifying. Anyways, what's the worst that happened to you, Joe?
No, nothing. I'm in complete control of my body.
Lies. Well, text us in on 64046 or email russell.6music@bbc.co.uk with the best things you've ever done to your friends when they're asleep. We'll talk about pranks, things we've done or had done to us when we've passed out. We've had loads of texts in. We had a really horrible one here, right? My friends super glued my eyelashes and told me I was blind, which was not far off, actually. They actually glued my eye to the lid. Lovely stuff. Imagine that. That's horrific. There's another one here. We put toothpaste, glasses, beard and a moustache on the new boy's face on the last night of Boys Brigade camp. So it set hard. He couldn't breathe. Phil, Southampton. These aren't so much pranks as pretty much attempted
See,
murders.
this is why I don't condone all this. Because health and safety, especially when you're drunk, maybe something seems like a good idea, So it's best just look after your friends.
Lovely touch there. Someone here, Kevin Jones, filled his mate Rob's mouth full of garlic puree. He slept on through this, only to wake 30 minutes later, quite angry, but with a flippant disregard for vampires.
Well, he could have choked.
He could have choked, yeah. We've got another one here. Somebody had a mane of hair. Who's got that? Have you got that one?
I've got that, yeah. My brackets male friend had a veritable mane of hair, which he was very proud of. One drunken night we shaved most of it off. See, that's not funny, is it?
No, but...
It takes years to grow a mane. I know.
Oh, you couldn't shave anything into your head. That would be impossible.
Well, I'd never let myself get into a state where that was allowed. You got to do... I don't mind ones that, no one gets hurt. Like, my friend Adam, for example, if he falls asleep, I'll tip a cup of water on his trousers so it looks like he's weed himself.
That's a good one, yeah.
That's fine.
A classic.
No one gets hurt, and there's no health and safety problems.
Well, that's quite close to what happened to me. Somebody attempted to do that to me, shave my head, and I did the responsible thing and locked myself in the bathroom. Unfortunately, I was one of 2 long-haired people at this party, so they went for the next guy, a man who I was going to call Todd. And he came up with the most amazing self-defense mechanism I've ever seen. He made himself ill on the person who was actually trying to shave his hair.
Oh, really?
He literally one word, he said, "I'm gonna be sick." And the guy didn't even have time to get out, "Ah, ha, 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 ha," before he vomited all over his front.
But there was a very interesting backstory to all that, because that concerned my friend Richie, who got very drunk at a thing called the Cheriton Beer Festival a few years ago. And turned up wearing just a pair of pants and a football top, and because he was really drunk, our mates then coerced him into taking these clothes off and dance naked amongst the elder ladies who were enjoying jazz at the Jazz and Beer Festival. And then people took photos, as you would. There was one of him dancing with a dog that never saw the light of day. But then Richie went round to Todd's house, got Todd drunk so that he could find the camera. Todd passed out. Richie went around looking for the camera, and do you know what he did? He ate it. He started chewing it, and because his lip all kind of burst open and stuff like that. When I pointed out, the easiest thing to do would have just put it in the bin, but he said he wasn't thinking right because he was drunk, so he tried to eat the evidence. Unbelievable. So you've never had anything done to you? You're riding for a fool.
No, I always sort of... there's a moment where I can tell I'm getting that drunk and I just go home. Fall asleep wake up with a sandwich on my chest.
Yeah, but when you two are drunk, you quite like blowing eggs. So, we're talking about pranks, the best things you've done to your mates or you've had done to you when you're asleep. John's not really a fan of this. You find it all a bit base, don't you?
Well, you've just got to be careful, haven't you?
You do have to be careful. It's a lovely point. He's made it well.
I'm just a prude.
No, but that's a good thing, I think.
Your friends get so angry with you as well. If you, because I get drunk. I only get really drunk, and that's about to be the most depressing thing I'm ever going to say. I only get really drunk on my own. Because then I know it's all about, I can do what I like then. So when I'm with friends, and I went back to Lancaster, where I'm from, over Christmas. Yeah.
Did very well, I hear.
There's a point where I stop drinking because I don't want any madness to ensue in front of other people. And your friends get really angry with you at that point where they're just tipping over the edge. If you go, "I've had enough now," then they go mental.
This is unbelievable behaviour. How many times have you... Because I'm a continental drinker. I'll take a little bit of wine, enough for me.
And then be sick.
You get very upset with that. The amount of times you tried to... the other day when you started talking about religion with John, he was in a really good mood. I don't know what you're like when you're drunk. I don't really... The only time I got drunk in Hong Kong, really properly drunk, and I tried to steal a goldfish from a pimp. So it's probably best that I don't get to that stage again.
Yeah, but then you bought it some tiny little socks for its scales.
It was fine. So I was looking after the little fella. But I had this... I can remember having this really weird drunken conversation with, "Why, look, there are all these kind of fish in a big bowl." And there was a pimp near, and I put my hand in to try and take it, and he got my hand and moved out, and I was like, "What? Yeah!" And, I was moved away by the other comedians that I was there with, because I tried to start a fight with a pimp over fish. That's not how you want to die, is it? Imagine that. How did he die protecting someone, protecting a fish? But I don't know what I was going to do with it. Maybe I was going to take the fish and take it back to my hotel room, put it in the bath or something.
Nurture it.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Put it in the kettle, let it simmer for 2 hours.
Lovely stuff, yeah. So what pranks have we got in?
All right, I've got one here that says, "This wasn't done to me, and I wasn't there when it happened, but it happened in my circle of friends. One poor guy fell asleep at a party, and as a joke, someone put shaving foam down his trousers. That's funny enough in itself, but it was later discovered that the shaving foam was in fact hair removal cream."
Unbelievable.
It's got a second career there, though.
I've got one here. This is from Liz in Bristol. I fell asleep at a party once and a friend teabagged me. Another time, a friend of mine's brother and his friend went skinny dipping in a lake. We stole their clothes and ran away. We were meanies. So that bit in Neighbours. Horrific. I managed to gloss over the teabag thing very quick. This is a belter, this one. Listen to this, right? This is from Joe in Portsmouth. My friend had a full-on argument with me when she was asleep. That'd be impossible, wouldn't it? Imagine that. Just to have somebody, it's like Gandalf the Grey, just suddenly, you know, with the eyes closed, just having a go. How would you react to that?
What if someone was shouting at me in their sleep?
Yeah, in their sleep.
I'd wake them up with a good hearty slap.
That'd be great. But you never know what...
That's when you know you really hate someone, when even in your sleep they're getting on your tits.
Absolutely. I had the only sort of sleep... There was a girl at our school, Nicola, who once woke herself up by farting. But that isn't an argument. It was a lovely thing to see.
That's a slightly change of topic.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm trying to move it towards happiness. Anything else, Sam?
Yeah, I've got one here. My mate is a deep sleeper, so when she fell asleep after a lot of drink at a party, we wrapped her in bubble wrap and stuck her under the stairs.
See, that's a good one.
But then forgot about her, and she woke up shouting, "Help, where am I? I think I've been kidnapped."
Oh, I've got a worse one than this, right? Listen, this is from Russ Foden, right? This is properly horrible. But I'm going to read it out, just to see what let's judge him, to see what we make of it, right? At a party during my mid-teens, got hammered, ended up on the floor amongst all the other bodies. I awoke to see some lads lifting a comatose teen into a wardrobe on the floor and slowly turning it over. Some time passed, they waited, drinking juice and keeping quiet. Eventually the contents of the wooden box stirred and they began reciting ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Oops, sorry, they probably didn't burp. We commend his soul to all eternity. They started chucking coins, pasta, rice and other muck onto the box. The contents murmured, stirring paws, and then began screaming, kicking and sobbing loudly that he was still alive as books and piles of clothes were thrown onto his coffin to simulate sods of earth. I'll never forget the pure white tear-streaked face of that dead teenager when he was dug out of his tomb. Now, he's written that beautifully, and Sam's applauding, but I would argue that the applause of Sam Thomas is not what you should aim for. That is imagine that is chilling.
What a happy rest of the day he must have, though.
No, absolutely no way. You're going to have flashbacks to that.
He's going to be clicking his heels going, "I'm alive." It's going to be great.
No, he's not. He's going to be going, "I've got to get some new mates."
Yeah. Because I was thinking that. Is that fickle of me that I just wouldn't see any of them ever again?
That's it.
They need to know there are boundaries.
And the thing about me, that began... The reason why I started reading it initially, it mentioned the word wardrobe. I thought, this is going to be a lovely Narnia fable. You know, I enjoy
love a Narnia fable.
I love very often... I like the idea of... I've never had the courage to do this, but to dress up as a lion and just hide in a wardrobe at IKEA just to startle one kid one day. That's fun. I think that's a fun prank. But to bury someone alive, that would be it. I'm not friends with those people.
Why did I even take you to see Flags of Our Fathers? That's what I don't understand.
It was never
12 quid I paid as well. We could have had ordinary seats. It was quiet, and I said, "Let's have premier seats." And I wake up screaming at that moment. I see myself saying, "Let's have premier seats," and then just thinking, it's a film about war, John. He likes lions in wardrobes.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, but he started going all kind of, taking the sort of moral intellectual high ground. Well, if you'd like a film about talking geese, then maybe we should watch Geese 5. Still crazy. And I sort of said back, well, if you're after
here we go. Yeah, here's the one book I read for A-level.
I hit him back with, if you're after a true analysis of the horrors of war, you should read Birdsong by Sebastian Faulks. He didn't like it.
We've all done A-levels.
I didn't do that in A-levels.
Well, if you're after a real chemical compound, then why don't you have a look at sodium chloride, which is salt? It's
horrible when you've got those little things that you know are your tools in an argument. When you run out of those things, you sort of find yourself going, "Yeah, well, I just didn't like it. I hated it." Anyways, so those are the pranks. Any more, Sam?
I think that's about it for me. Yeah.
I've got a text in from John, who funny guy, obviously.
Yeah.
He says his mate fell asleep after their graduation ball in Middlesbrough on the couch, so they lifted the couch out of the house into the middle of the main road and locked him out and left him there all night. In a tuxedo on a couch in the middle of the road.
But see, you've got to read them in a way that makes them light-hearted. You're reading them with such disdain. These idiots. This is from Gareth in County Derry.
Read it like a newsreader on Crime Watch.
Okay, I'll do it like that. At a party years ago, a mate fell asleep and we dragged him over to the radiator. I mean, admittedly, that doesn't start well. That sounds like it's going to be horrific, but it's fine.
Terry Waite is not enjoying this morning show.
Yeah, it's all right. We put a Mars star down the back of his keks and waited for him to wake up. When he did wake up, he said nothing, just looked embarrassed and went and got into a bath of cold water. We didn't tell him it was a Mars bar until he was in the bath. Good times.
Cold water.
No, I think that's a good one.
You're gonna have to cut that out with scissors.
But that's, you have to put that straight down the toilet. Well, that's pranks done. Let's move on. Hey, we'll do Am I Normal in a minute.
Hey.
I sound like you then. Hey, we've had a lot of fun doing that little feature. But let's move on to Am I Normal? This is probably my favourite bit of the show. This is the little things that you text in on 64046 or email russell.6music@bbc.co.uk. Those little quirky things you feel compelled to do. We're talking about the sort of January new, but the idea of it was to talk about the January.
Yeah, no, let me have another go.
No, the idea was to talk about the January blues and stuff like that, and ways that we could get over it. And we thought, quite a light-hearted idea would be to suggest the various things you've done to your friends or loved ones where they've passed out. We thought there could be cheeky ones, maybe people writing little rude words on their heads, shaving off eyebrows. They've pretty much been all death threats. Attempted murders have been sent in. I thought it was going to be a really light, bubbly way to start, a Sunday morning, but they've been horrific, haven't they?
Properly savage.
Honestly, there's loads, and I quite like reading out stuff that you're not allowed to read. That's always the best stuff. But this is beyond the pale. There's been some
beyond the pale.
Yeah, there's been some. Do you know where that phrase comes from?
A pale that someone went beyond.
That's correct. 5 points for Gryffindor. Well done, Jon Richardson. It's to do with Ireland in the potato famine, isn't it? Something to do with that. That's why I'm not a teacher. Just saying.
That'll do, kids. Just write that.
Yeah, exactly. Write that down. And I'll tell you what. Oi, boys, have a look. Right, look at that. Boobless on the calculator. Who's your favourite teacher? You are, sir. You're right. All right, let's do PE. I'd love to have been a PE. No, I wouldn't. What am I talking? Who wants to be a PE teacher? Nothing but rumours. It is, though, isn't it? It's always... have you ever what he did? What?
How many PE teachers are there in the country?
I don't know, John. What a wonderful question to ask.
64046. Yeah, someone go out and find out.
It'd be quite nice if they've all lifted up their heads like meerkats. I don't know.
Talking to us now.
How many PE teachers do you think are in the country?
Oh, I don't know. More. I was implying that there are more PE teachers than you hear rumours about in the press.
You don't hear about them in the press, you hear about them in the playground.
Oh, I misunderstood.
No, it's always every PE teacher. There was a story about this in the news this week.
There is a news story.
But every PE teacher, there's always one who is a lesbian, and there's always one who's had an affair with one of the younger kids, according to the rule of the programme.
I liked my PE teacher. I had a lot of respect for him.
Did you not hear the rumours, John?
Mr. Sunderland,
yeah,
you're listening. Good guy.
Yeah, but there's always that rumour that knocks around when you're 11, and you don't really know what you're talking about, but it's just passed down. He shaved his legs. He had an affair. You don't really know what you're on about, but it happened.
And it's the shaving the legs. It's always worse.
Yeah, exactly.
I had an affair, but get this, he's got shiny legs. Monster.
Exactly.
Our chemistry teacher had an affair.
What's the story?
It's a teacher charged pupils bribes to skip PE. Apparently charged them $1 a day for the right to skip PE and get a pass rate. Now, personally, I reckon that's an excellent business venture.
$1 a day?
$1 a day. And they said, you pay me $1 a day and I'll let you off PE and you'll still pass, right?
Phys ed.
Yeah, I would have done it to get out of the cross-country run, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I love PE.
This was cross-country run hero, this man here, the Aryan Dreamboat. He was fine at it.
I used to love that. It was great, going for a run.
No, I hate cross-country.
We've actually just had a very funny text in, email in about Sam. From my friend Rob. You'll love this. This sums up Sam from our teenage years, right? They were having dinner last night. They were talking about a funny Sam Thomas moment. There was a group of the chaps out in Winchester one night. We're all students. Money was tight, so it was probably happy hour. And they're all doing rounds of drinks. When it was Richie's, our friend Richie's turn to buy the drinks, he took them all one by one and asked what they want. So like, Sooty, what do you want? Beer. Our friend Chris, what do you want? Cider. And apparently when he asked Sam took Richie aside and said in a hushed voice, completely seriously, "I'd rather have the money."
Now that's a myth. That's a myth. And I know he's never forgiven me.
That's crazy.
I'm drink shy, apparently.
That's about, yeah. Well, that was the real rumour of you at school, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a massive character flaw.
Don't buy his pints. Does not buy his pints.
So let's get into Am I Normals this week. We've had some really great ones. Text them in 64046 or email russell.6music@bbc.co.uk. The quirky little things you feel compelled to do. What about you, John, this week?
Well, This one cropped up the other night. I have a real issue with other people's saliva. It physically repulses me. If I see someone sneeze down the street, I'll hold my breath until I'm well past the incident.
Yep.
And you know when you're having dips round at a party, like a dinner party, like the sort what I have of an evening when I have friends round and cook dinner for them all.
We had a party a few weeks ago, and John made a chocolate fountain.
Yeah, I apologised for that.
What was lovely about it, he made a chocolate fountain. It went badly.
Why did it go badly the first batch, Russell?
I put Rice Krispies in. I thought it would add to it. I thought it'd be a bit nicer.
Yeah,
just
like a sort of fountain with rocks in it.
So he disappeared, went to the shops, bought some more chocolate, got the fountain going. It was popping down nicely. Everyone's popping in marshmallows and bits of, cheese and
meringues,
strawberries, bananas, biscuits. It was all going down.
I bought the finest biscuits.
Captain here gets the worst.
Captain?
The only thing people will remember from that party is the vicious gas that you suffered.
Oh, let's not have this said.
But that's all people remember about that party. Hey, God, was that the night John went?
Am I normal then? When you're having a dip, Jesus, cribbins and eggs. There's a dip in the middle and maybe sticks of celery, and someone takes the stick of celery and puts the cut end into the dip and has a bite, then re-dips their bit end into the middle. I can't touch that dip then, because they've spat and took all their tooth plaque all over the end of their bit of celery or breadstick, then back into the communal dip. You only dip cut ends into the dip.
No, wrong.
Right, so we're discussing double dipping now.
You can double dip, not a problem.
You'll dip fingers though.
Absolutely, put in your pinky, not a problem. What I'll do, I'll dip in my pinky. I'll offer it to a friend, no problem.
This is why you don't get invited to dinner parties.
John, when have you ever been to a dinner party?
Oh, I've been to so many. You know when I go out and where are you going? And I go, doesn't matter, mate, and I've got a suit on. I'm going to a dinner party.
Or are you going to the suspension bridge?
One day I'm going to cook a really hot fondue, and that'll show you. I'd
love to go to a dinner party, but we just don't get invited.
You don't get invited.
You've never been
I don't get invited because of you. I've got out of the dinner party loop since I started doing this show. I used to do one a week.
That'd be
dinner
great.
Parties.
You know who's been chucked out of the circuit? Jon Richardson, yes. So what? I don't understand the problem with that. That's fine to dip, isn't it?
No, it's unhygienic. Spit it. You might as well just spit into my hummus.
Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. All right, John. I was enjoying that. Doesn't matter. I'm eating Maud. We're having fondue later. Not a problem. How about you, Sam?
And you're picking your nose as you're saying.
What's wrong with that?
Now I can't shake hands with you until I know you've washed your hands.
Why don't you go do a trump at a party where 30 guests are, so it smells like there's something vicious, a ghost leaping out of you. That's what it smelled like.
That was a serious illness.
It was, correct.
And I'll thank you not to make light of it.
But you were like an old person. You knew you were doing it, and you just sat there and went, oh, that's me, that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, He actually was putting his arse out the window and guffing into Bristol. So all of a minute, he's like, oh, yeah, you can't dip. Yeah. Oh, there's something wrong with dipping. And yet he's willing to put his rectum out of a window and project
And suddenly planes can't fly from Bristol Airport.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a similar thing.
Thanks for telling that story, mate.
Well, not a problem.
Do you want me to tell the story about what happened when we did a gig at a boys' school in Blandford Forum?
Yeah, if you like.
And you soiled yourself in the dressing room.
We're doing this, are we? Right. That's me out on stories with you. What else have you done? Oh, you killed that man. He didn't. I'm joking, of course. Well, Sam, what's your Am I Normal?
Well, I had one lined up. I've replaced it with this fact that might provoke discussion. Soup in a cup offends me. It's wrong and it's against the law.
Why?
Should be against the law. Never drink soup out of a cup. Got to be in a bowl. Miso soup, fine. Something where you drink out of a small bowl, fine. Put it in a cup, I'm against it. Absolutely against it. Jon Richardson.
No, I like copper soup, but I always have a little box in the boot of my car with tasties in it for when if I'm driving away and have to do a gig and I have to stay overnight and I didn't expect to. Nothing worse than being hungry and wanting a drink and all the shops are shut and you're angry anyway because you didn't want to have to stay over. Pop in the boot of your car, cup of soup, packet of biscuits, screw-top bottle of red wine.
That fits in quite nicely. Yesterday I was at a gig and somebody sort of said, oh, I listened to your show on Six Music, I really like it. I was like, oh, thanks very much. And then he said, hey, your mate John, is he as mad as he sounds?
Yeah, you're wacky, mate.
You've pretty much... Well, that's
what's my views on Iraq.
What's great, you haven't got views on Iraq.
I've got views on Iraq.
Go on then.
No, it's not my role on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch me on News Extra.
where you'll be coughing out of a window going, oh, it's got mad over there. Right, my am I normal, since you ask, guys, is it's a restaurant-based thing. See, I get very, when you order food at a restaurant with your few mates, I get quite proud of a dish that I've had, and I'll offer it to people. And if people don't want to have some of that, I'll get offended. It really bugs me. Like yesterday, I was out with Dan and Alan, and I had some hot and sour soup, and it was really nice. Going, oh, this is good. This. Oh, do you want some? No. And you find yourself going, well, just have a bit so that we can all agree it's lovely. Nah, not for me, that. And then, it really winds me up. I don't know why. That's something I do. The other thing, I feel compelled, whenever I see a banana, to write on it with biro.
Oh, I went through a phase of doing that.
It's difficult not to. If you got a biro and a banana...
How does it read, though? Is it easy? Can't be easy. Got a rubbery skin.
Oh, no, it writes really easy. Yeah, it's just a very odd thing. You just can't... If you got
it's
a
like
biro...
papyrus, isn't it?
And another one, right? Here's another one, and then we'll get into yours. The door conundrum. You know when you open a door for somebody, or someone opens a door for you, you say, thanks, mate. But then, if there's another door immediately about sort of maybe 10 metres in front, you can't say anything, can you? You can't say thanks again, because they'll think you're an idiot. So you either have to change what you're going to say.
If they've held the first door for you, though, then you should be first to the second door.
It's not a race.
Yeah, but they've held the door for you, so you're first through, so you should get to the second door first and hold it for them. And then they go, oh, it's mental, this, isn't it?
But my am I normal is I'll very often hang back so that I don't have to bother with it. And then just go through the door on my own. I find that really difficult what to say on that second time, because you either go, thanks, cheers, or just say something really awkward.
I'm a real sucker for that. I've got a real problem with saying thank you too much. A restaurant is painful, but doors as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's
very, very, very much.
We're doing your Am I Normals. What have we got, boys?
I had a text in that says, I am completely with John, spelt with an H, but you won't to know, it's just Jon, not short for Jonathan. On the double dipping, it's disgusting. Who knows what horrible things other people have? People's mouths are rank. And we had an email in during the week, because you asked people on the website what they couldn't live without. And someone, Jack from Chichester, texted in, I couldn't live without my dog. I let her lick inside my mouth. But I read somewhere that a dog's mouth is 120% cleaner than a human's.
Yeah, I read
What
that.
a ridiculous statistic that is. 120% cleaner.
That's a thing passed down by an uncle at a party, isn't it? So I think, oh, it's fine, 120% cleaner. Now, there's been tests. You got to worry about a scientist who's doing that test. And how was that? Oh, it was pretty disgusting. Yeah. Let's try a different dog. Okay, how about that one? Yeah, that's pretty horrible. Yeah, that dog's been licking his bum. What about this human licking you now? No, that's horrible.
Yeah, I don't like celery.
Some weird. It's like that. One of the best scientific facts I heard. A sloth runs at speeds of 0.3 miles an hour, but if you steal a sloth's baby, that sloth will run at speeds of 0.4 miles per hour, which is just incredible science. Again, the idea.
You say run.
Yeah. Well, no, but how lovely is that? Maybe it's just a job app. Wanted baby thief. Speed not applicable. But the idea there's a scientist there going, right, nick his baby, go. Oh, it's picked up the pace, look. It has picked up the pace. Ring up new scientists.
There was a programme about sloths on over Christmas.
Is it sloths or sloths?
I think...
I go sloths.
I go sloths. Yeah. They don't know why that they haven't evolved out of this, but they live in trees, and they only really get hunted when they go on the ground. But a sloth will not defecate from a tree. They climb down the tree, they do their business on the floor, and then they climb back into the tree, and it takes them ages. And the only time they really get eaten is when they go down to go to the toilet, and there's absolutely no reason for them not to just do it off the tree.
Well, then they go as a gentleman.
I've got a lot of respect for the sloth for that.
God, how lovely would that be if in the next series of, I don't know, sloths around wherever they live, just to see you in the corner. Very good. Very good. Well done. Look at that. Textbook, that. Could have done it up in the tree, look. Could have done it up in the tree. Walk down.
Even you just go when you need to, whether you're wearing clothes or not. But
I think that'd be one of the delights. Doing it from a tree, imagine that. Hey! Bang, yeah? That's where I live.
And they move so slowly that by the time they'd looked around to see what they'd hit, they'd have already missed the fun part of watching it hit someone in the face.
That's a fair point. But they'd have to get a system where one sloth would look for the other. So move your head now. Okay, I'm doing it. My head is ready. Commence. Missed. Do it again. No.
Not for another 3 weeks.
Yeah. Is that how long it is?
I don't know.
Oh, I could live with that. 3 weeks without any of that business, that'd be fantastic.
Not with what you eat, though.
That's correct, John. Thanks. I'm not coming out of this well at all. So, Am I Normal's got a really cool one here. This is from Oliver, who says, gorgeous show, lads. That's nice to hear. I've not heard that as the description. Anyway, the little things we do to make life more exciting. When walking through a crowded street, I imagine I am piloting the Millennium Falcon, weaving through a seemingly impenetrable asteroid field. The cream of the Empire's fighter pilots are trying to take me down, but I'm just too fast for them. When I duck into a shop, I've just executed a daring dive, landing into a crater of one of the biggest asteroids for quick repairs. On colder, rainier days, clothing is my shields. Coat on, but open shields at 50%, coat done up and scarf on shields at 100% and holding down. This makes the average shopping trip much more fun, but I often forget what I came into town for. That's fantastic, isn't it?
That's marvellous.
I'm with them on that. I've not done a Millennium Falcon, but I very much like the idea. I've seen and heard you go meow meow. Seeing him like shop is great fun, because he'll just with his shopping trolley or just moving in and out, and people watch out, Jon Richardson coming through. I think he thinks he's not saying it out loud, but he does.
Well, I've got a tip for doing a Millennium Falcon. If you want to run in snow, that's hyperspace. It's akin to hyperspace. You look straight into the snow as you run. It's fabulous.
That's the worst thing about driving in snow. When it feels like that
that's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
You stop concentrating.
When I take eggs out of the packet, this is from Helen from Bristol. When I take eggs out of the packet, I always have to balance them. So if I use the bottom left one first, then I have to take the top right to balance the packet. Or you could take the top left and then the bottom right. It would be acceptable to use the middle two first, but I prefer to leave them till last for stability.
What if you're cooking a 3-egg omelette?
I will ask her that, John.
Text back, Helen, 3-egg omelette.
Helen, he's hit you back. If you only need to use one, this can be tricky. I think it's best to use the front middle one.
Front middle, yeah.
Nice, excellent. But how lovely was that? Yeah, front middle. I try to avoid using odd numbers. My sister does exactly the same thing with her eggs. The funny thing is that it isn't a habit we inherited from our parents. We both started doing it independently after we left home. That's creepy.
Wow.
See, I'll just grab any egg.
I bet her time of the month is very complicated.
Nice. Lovely stuff, John.
What she wants to get is get the eggs out of the carton straight away and put them in the little thing in the fridge, and then if she needs to use just one omelette, if it's a big long wide one, she can sort of zigzag the eggs so it doesn't look like there's an egg missing.
You listen to Egg Weekly here on on Six Music with another eggy tip from John. I find all this fascinating. That's what we do it. But there are so many people out there who have these quirky little things. So that's that will be how she does her eggs forever. When she's a granny, all the little kids be like, have you seen the way Nanny does the eggs? Yeah, it's really weird. Why she do that? Apparently her dad did that. What's all that about? It's just really peculiar.
I think my nan started mine. It was tins of beans. When you tip a tin of beans into a can and some of them stick, you can never leave just one bean. Otherwise it's lonely in the bin. You have to leave 2 beans.
See, that's lovely. But
it's frightening, though. You can't be worrying about beans when you're about 3. Crying at night because of beans on its own.
But I would argue that's the time to worry about it. When you're an adult, probably not.
Yeah, but that's stuck now. I can't not worry about, God, the beans I've left over the years.
See, my brain thinks, I wouldn't mind opening the bin now to see what kind of... Imagine that.
Tasty treats I can find.
No, to see what kind of party's going on. Imagine that, just lifting up and there's 2 beans. Boom, boom.
Down at the bottom of the bin.
Exactly.
Well, we've had an Am I Normal in from Wee Alice. Mm-hmm. No, that's the email address. From Jade in Lancs. Good people in Lancashire. When I was at school, our history teacher claimed that your personality is revealed in your handwriting and that experts can work out everything about you based on how you write. Then she says, no way did I want them, in capital letters, knowing my innermost thoughts. So I got out a book on handwriting from the school library and decided what personality traits I wanted, and then spent months practising my new style of handwriting that has all the loops and flourishes of a person who's confident, witty, intelligent and optimistic. I still write like this today, just in case they ever analyse my writing.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, how old was she when she did that? That's ingenious.
Oh, I don't know.
I like to think she's a really wily 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get their head around what kind of kids they've got to deal with. And they've literally got Harriet, the detective spy, going, oh, really? Want to put me in a box?
That's quite a cool thing for a history teacher to say. My history teacher just told me that unless I learnt the rules of crop rotation, I was going to fail my GCSEs.
That was all it was. Same. We were the Norfolk crop rotation. 1/3 fallow, 1/3
Fallow's
wheat,
a good word.
1/3 barley. Yeah, that was it. But that's all the person I did like. I quite like Arthur Young, the travelling farmer. Do you remember
lest we forget Jethro Tull's seed drill.
Yeah. But there was this guy called Arthur Young, who our history teacher was lady called Mrs. Krupa, and she was great. She was really kind of fiery and really, like, literally shouting at us all the time. This is what happened. What happened? There was 3 times a field. 3 times a field. It's really good, I quite liked it.
That's what you get.
Yeah, it was really great. And but I remember she used to get really angry. A phrase that always stuck in my head was, history's everywhere. It's always happening. How can you not love this subject? And you sat there going, we do. You're great.
Oh, she took it really personally.
Oh, I liked her.
Any talk back was only, and that's it. You're gone. You're there for about an hour after school.
That's how I'd be, though. If I was a teacher and I believed in what I was teaching, then if someone gobs off, that's like a heckler at a gig. You hit them hard, and then bang, you're straight on with your stuff.
But what were you like at school? Gobbing off, I imagine.
Well, there were girls, John, and the way to impress girls was to try and make them laugh, although it never worked, in that there weren't many girls that fared to be at school.
The way to impress girls is to have money.
Oh, my God. Well, it's off. There you go.
You join us in controversial hour.
We've already lost the Jamie T fans, and now we've lost all
well,
women.
they can go and listen to something else anyway.
Are
there any Jamie T? We had a nice text in, didn't we? Backing me up on the Jamie T thing.
We had about 5 texts backing you up about Jamie T, including a man from Gateshead who said, "Is that a new regional accent I've never heard of?" It's pretty fantastic.
Was he referring to me or Jamie T?
He was referring to Jamie T, not thee. I've got one here. Whenever I buy Corona for my friend, I always feel compelled to sing the chorus in My Sharona, of course replacing Sharona for Corona. That's fantastic. It's like when Aga gets the ball. When you watch football, I'm watching Arsenal or Chelsea, Aga, you can't help but go, do, and everyone across the land does it. It's impossible.
I couldn't understand. All these years, that Christmas song goes, dubba dubba dum dum, dubba dubba. Why Debenhams have never covered that? Debba debba num num, debba debba dum, debba deb deb debenhams deb.
Lovely.
If that comes out next year and I am not getting royalties, I'll not be best pleased.
I really wish I'd recorded that then on my phone just to see you going dibba dibba doo dibba dibba dibba. That should be on YouTube. That was a man breaking down in front of us. Right. This is quite nice. I've got one here. I have to eat Weetos in even numbers, collecting them onto the spoon in 4 or more at a time. If there's an odd number left at the end, I feel like I've failed.
The worst one.
People really beat themselves up.
Weetos is all right, but Cheerios, because they're 4 different colours, you have to get one of each. You know, like when they eat them on the advert.
No.
You have to get one of each colour and enough milk that they just float, but it only fills the front half of the spoon. And like I had a Muller fruit corner this morning, and you have to eat it so that there's a perfect little pool of natural yoghurt, and somehow get the syrup just to dollop in the middle in a perfect circle. Because that's how they eat on the advert.
This is really nice. This is from Arvid. Hi guys, love the show. Somehow as a kid I got the idea that every time I heard a ringing in my ear it meant someone was in trouble. Which is fantastic.
I hope he hasn't got tinnitus.
Or he's been to some music gigs where it's going to be horrific. I always imagined it's something akin to Superman's hearing. To this day, I have to concentrate really hard and spin around twice to summon my inner superhero, or else the person won't get saved. That's fantastic. Oh, and I have to check all the faucets before leaving the house. If I don't one day, I'll leave a faucet running. The water will create an artificial lake, and somehow the house will float away, and the whole family will blame me. Brackets, typical. Not really.
Faucets?
Yeah.
That's a word I haven't heard in a long time.
This is quite nice. All right, guys, when on the bus, I find it... This is from Mike Wheeler. I find it hard to get off at my stop, brackets right outside my house, and rather wait 10 minutes to the town centre when I know loads of others will be getting off. This is so as to not cause a scene by always being the only one getting off at my stop and feeling like I'm doing a walk of shame to the bus doors, as if I've been verbally abused. As if I'm a verbally abused war veteran on a bus and not just utilising the bus in the way that it was intended.
They won't get off the bus at their stop if they're the only one.
He won't get off the bus which is outside his house because he feels like a war veteran.
But surely he must have pressed the stop in anticipation, so that's more irritating for everyone else off the bus if it stops and no one gets off.
I don't remember.
Some war veteran at the back chuckling to himself.
I don't know where he's got into that. He's a war veteran.
Maybe he's been to watch Flags of Our Fathers and he didn't fall asleep.
But I love the idea that there's going to be some kid, some little oik with maybe a hoodie on the bus. Like, you hear that bing? Oh, look at that bloke. Getting off, probably a Vietnam vet. Exactly, it's ridiculous.
Go on, Dave. Tell him he fought for nothing.
We're talking about happiness today, and in light of January, particularly this beginning bit, it's very difficult. So you go into a bookshop and everything's kind of improve yourself, eat this, don't do that, rules of life, blah blah blah. All these primary colours telling you how to become a better person. It's horrible. So we thought we'd offer kind of alternative ways to get happy without having Gordon Ramsay tell you in a book. How about you, John? What makes you happy?
Fish stew.
You make a very good fish stew, I hear.
Yeah. You've got to, in the winter.
It always comes down to food. That's what I love about you. But we'll say what makes you happy, and John will just say, fish fingers. I like to prepare...
Oh, I had a fish finger sandwich last night.
There we go.
Vinegar and chips. Nom. Tasty it was. Cheap white bread with it. I don't condone.
Were you doing your Debenhams advert again then?
No, that was the remix for Next. Nom, Next. That's not as good an advert, to be honest. And they've complained because they sell clothes and it's food. But we're working that out, do you know what I mean? We're in negotiations. Fish, you've got to, in the winter, you've got to concentrate on the good parts of winter. It's no good trying to lead a summer lifestyle and getting angry because it's winter. So you make sure that instead of eating salads and stuff, cook a lovely stew when you get in from work and it's dark, and enjoy having a lovely stew by the radiator with a glass of red wine. Go for a run. It's lovely. Better running in the dark.
You sound like a hostage. Enjoy a stew next to a radiator. How's that fun in any way?
Cook. I was going to say...
Dear diary, another good day. I had stew near the radiator. Must loosen my handcuffs.
I was going to say by the fire, and then I thought most people don't have fires, John. That's not inclusive. But the basic premise is warmth. So and we had a wooden burning stove in our cottage that we stayed in for Christmas. Yeah. Unbelievable. I really enjoyed having a wood-burning fire, throwing wood on. So if you've got that, curl up by that, have a nice glass of a heavy red, maybe a Merlot, and, nice stew, and just enjoy the fact that it's dark and it's cold outside, but you're warm.
You see, that is a lovely idea. It's like the idea of... that's another thing that makes you happy, is it's like watching Big Cat Diary or The West Wing in front of a roaring fire. That's the idea that you like, that and it's raining outside, and it's hitting against your window, and it's really kind of romantic and exciting. But the reality is, if you've got a wood fire, it spits at you. It's horrible. You're sort of sat there eating your stew.
Close the door.
Close of the fire?
Yeah, and have a vent. There's a little vent on the bottom for letting air in.
Sounds like madness. But that makes you happy. A fish stew. How about you, Sam?
Bacardi and Coke. But apart from that, snow's good, or listen to a good film. A nice...
Listen to a good film.
You can watch it too if you want. That helps as well. If you're greedy. If you need the total sensory experience. Willow or something like that. Harvey. All those kind of feel-good films.
Yeah, it's a film, maybe a film that you've seen or something like that.
Labyrinth.
Yeah. Labyrinth is a good one.
Amelie. I tell you what I did watch the other day that really cheered me up. It's really odd. The Paul Merton silent
clown.
I watched that.
Oh, and the bit, I tell you what's really amazing. I was just eating some food. I think Rice Krispies. That's incidental. You don't need to know. But
with warm milk.
Yeah. I was near a radiator. I was having a smashing time, and my brother actually had a hairdryer on me. I felt alive. But I was watching it, and it was about the kid, the Charlie Chaplin film, The Kid, when they have I think it's a 6-year-old kid, it was his first ever film, and there's a bit when the baddies steal the little kid and put him on a truck, and they're going to drive him away, and this kid is like appealing to the camera, screaming, and you can see him making out the words, "Oh please, oh no, oh please don't let me go," and I started blubbing. It was really, really powerful, and you find yourself going, "Oh, this is really great," and you see Paul Merton then describe why it's wonderful in front of an audience of like very old people and very young people, and all these 7-year-olds, their mouths just wide open, going, "This is amazing. It's brilliant." Did you enjoy it?
I watched a different one to you.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you clearly didn't enjoy it.
No, that story ended with you describing an audience that is probably similar to the audience that went to watch Cats, but because you were watching them on something with Paul Merton on, you liked them. But if you'd seen them in real life, you'd gone, "Oh, look at these idiots with their coats on, like idiots. Oh, and that man's wearing a hat. What an idiot."
I'm here with John.
Morning.
And Sam.
Howdy.
We're talking about happiness, the things that make you happy, the things and ways to beat the January blues. Text us in on 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk with the things that make you happy. We've had some really good ones here. There's a really nice one here from Andy in Thornbury. Smell association makes him happy. Like when you smell chalk and remember something random at school, or an old perfume and remember a girl who makes you smile. He says he's at his happiest when he's on a mountain with his iPod and a snowboard, and we can't say that nice bit at the end. But that's quite nice.
Nice bit.
That's quite. I think that's I like that idea. I think that would be good fun. We can't really get into that. John doesn't. I think that'd be fun though, wouldn't it? Snowboarding, listening to an iPod. slightly drunk.
I've done snowboarding. It's rubbish.
Have you?
It's too hard. But someone ties you to a piece of wood.
Someone?
Both feet, not just one foot. Both feet.
Back up. Someone. Who ties you to a bit of wood?
Society.
Really, John?
Yeah, they tell you should ski. Yeah. I'll tell you what snowboarding is. It's tying yourself to a piece of wood, falling backwards until your ankles break, and then falling forwards until your wrists break, and then sliding down a mountain on your face.
Well, sounds like fun.
Yeah. The boots go so high. The boots are knee high, so you can't bend. You just tip.
I got one from Becca here. She says she's happy when she's on stage with her flugelhorn. I don't know what a flugelhorn...
Aren't we all?
I don't know what a flugelhorn is, but I want one. Just so I can say, has anyone seen my flugelhorn? You left it near your whiz-bit. Did I? I'm a fool for that.
I've had one in backing me up on the yoghurt, how to eat a yoghurt in a happy way. That says, it's from Matt. It says, I get very annoyed by yoghurt adverts when they spoon some yoghurt out of the pot ready for the close-up, and then there's no yoghurt on the bottom of the spoon. It's a conspiracy. But we had a great one about happiness in from Pete in Collimpton, who says, sometimes I get so happy that my face gets pins and needles, and that's when I need to sit down and calm down a little bit.
That's great. Do you reckon he says that to people? I've got to sit down, I've got pins and needles.
Yeah, he's probably going to do it in a northern accent. He's from Devon.
OK, I got to sit down, I got pins and needles.
Yeah, and he's not Justin Lee Collins.
OK. Fair enough.
Might be. He might be using an alias.
Justin Lee Collins did I was going to call him Justin, but he did a yoghurt advert many years ago.
Yoghurt?
Yeah. Do you like yoghurt, mate? He's great.
Where I come from, they used to call it yoghurt.
Yeah,
have you found anything that makes you happy?
I've got one, a real confrontation here. This guy says the happiest moment of his life was when he was playing football for his old club and he scored a hat-trick in the first half. And another good time is when I was playing a gig in my old band and did a totally impromptu guitar solo. Which begs the question, what's better, scoring a hat-trick or nailing a guitar solo?
Scoring a hat-trick.
Imagine if you could do the both, though.
Yeah,
I can't play the guitar.
That would be great. Well, how cool would that be if Rooney scored a goal and then somebody just threw a guitar and he grabbed it, just... That'd be great. He could do anything and people would cheer. Right. So that's all you've got for happiness. Nothing else?
There's some bits of both.
There isn't. Okay, right. We had 3 minutes to find them, it's fine. We clearly don't want to be happy anymore. What makes me happy, you ask, guys? Thanks.
What makes you happy, Russell?
Well, I quite like watching people...
Cartoons?
Well, no, see, we went through this the other day. You would have me down as a cartoon watcher, I don't. You're the one who stays up at night watching the Cartoon Network, so that when I get up the next morning, it says Bozina and the Snurks. Or someone's been watching that.
You don't enjoy cartoons?
I just don't watch them. I just, I like the Simpsons.
They expand your soul.
Family Guy.
I quite like water flumes and watching people fall over. It's bad, but like a water flume, the good thing about, because you know when you're down in the dumps, the good thing about a water flume or something where you're forced to react, you're forced to sort of go on your reactions. You don't have time to think, is this fun? Am I enjoying this? What, you're just being spat out of a flume. The only thing you can think about is going, this is scary, it's lovely.
And don't do that.
As in not, yeah. and then you get to the bottom and you think, where are my trunks? You put them back on, it's fine. And watching someone fall over is always... say again? Home
Alone, where his trunks come off when he jumps in the pool. Does his cannonball.
That's correct. That's what makes you happy, isn't it, watching Home Alone?
Yeah. Home Alone and Labyrinth and The Rock are the only films I need.
The Rock?
Yeah. Womack! If you haven't seen The Rock, that'll mean nothing to you. But get it out today and watch it. Nice Sunday evening, strap yourself to this...
radiator. Yeah, exactly.
God damn, I was going to say fan heater in case you haven't got a radiator. I was opening it up to a wider audience.
Good thinking.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Maybe light a bin.
Just light a match and look at it.
We got basically we're talking about happiness, stuff like that. So you can text us on 64046 or email russell.6music@bbc.co.uk with the things that make you happy. There's a really nice one here from I think this is I don't know, I'll get his name. That's from Callum, and he says a great way to entertain yourself and to ward off boredom. And to annoy everyone around you is to narrate everything your friends, family say and do. Weird, but very fun. I can imagine that'd be good fun.
Got to
imagine
be fun.
That. Mum coming into the room there, Dad sitting down, looking at Mum.
Disapproving grin on his face.
Yeah, that'd be great. How long do you reckon you could keep that up?
There's a scene in Family Guy where Peter decides to just narrate his life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Lois brought in the meatloaf. It was below average.
Yeah.
I awoke several hours later. she punches him. Cartoons really don't work over the radio, I'll say that for them now.
But that's fine. Another thing we can do with a board, you can knit. I'm just learning, so it's just little woolen squares at the moment, but the concentration it takes means it kills time. Lovely. See a lot of people go on about that, knitting being
it's
fun.
meant to be the new trend, isn't it?
Is it really?
Yeah, apparently it's
Who's
come
saying
back.
that? The kids?
The young kids, the cats, I hear.
The cats are all about the knitting.
Exactly.
I can't imagine that.
There's a story in the paper about an old woman who knits, and she's got a little brooch that she wears around her neck, and she sharpened one of the edges for cutting her wool.
Yeah.
And she was banned from getting on a flight in case she's about 80.
Political correctness gone mad.
You're damn right, mate. She had to be helped onto the plane by about 3 people, and they still thought there was a chance she could use this little brooch to kill the pilot and fly to Acapulco.
Or maybe she could. Maybe that was her scheme. Maybe inside her there were lots of tiny terrorists.
Yeah, and knit an army for herself.
Absolutely. Fly, my pretties. They should get that on Grumpy Old Men. God, have you seen that? It's a horrible program, mate. It's just bigots in suits. And another thing you can't do, it's because it's against the law. You're not allowed to go 50 and a 30. I mean, what the is going on with the world?
They've stopped me from burning.
Yeah.
Can you believe they've stopped me from burning?
The other day, I'm burning my furniture because I had an argument with my wife, and it's just horrible. This is quite nice. Things that make me happy here. When I'm bored, I like to imagine myself. This is from Barry in Birmingham. It might be the Beatmaster. What a guy. When I'm bored,
You sock up.
I like to imagine myself in strange situations, such as being stuck in a world of jelly. All the people are jelly. The streets are jelly. The food, well, that's jelly. But you get the gist. I don't know how that would make you. You've got some amazing people who listen to our show when they're bored. They imagine that they're living in a world of jelly. Someone here likes listening to Led Zeppelin whilst eating bacon sandwiches in front of vegetarians. That sounds tricky. Anything else?
I've got one saying she likes to watch programmes like Derek Ancora's Most Haunted and laugh endlessly at his stupidity. Have you ever seen that? It's
it's
the Ghost Show. It's fantastic. It seems to live off night vision and the fact that your eyes glow slightly sinisterly in night vision, and then they start breathing heavily.
And it also lives off the fact that people are idiots and will watch anything.
Yeah, you listen to Six Music. This is a really nice one. Seeing the smile on my dad's face when we threw a surprise party for him. He was chuffed a bit, as Ed in Basil said. That is really lovely. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I remember my uncle, whoops, my Uncle Tim, we did that for his 50th. And I was thinking about Auntie Sandra, but my Uncle Tim is brilliant. Like, he genuinely didn't know, and it's such a great sort of giddy, way! And him just, it's in that sort of second, because initially they're scared, angry and then delighted, all in the space of about 4 seconds. It's really sort of heartwarming when you see that kind of thing.
I react really badly to that kind of thing, because when I get home I just want it quiet. And do you remember when we moved into the flat?
Oh yeah, that was horrible. Yeah, well that was it. What happened, right? John hadn't. We all moved into a flat a year ago, right? And he hadn't been there yet. So I said, "Oh, you know what he likes? We've got a big projector. Let's put Labyrinth on. He'll come in or hit Labyrinth. It'll be fantastic." And then we all took our top offs just to give it a little bit of extra. And we couldn't find Labyrinth. Went in his room, couldn't find it, so we found Lord of the Rings.
Went in my room.
Shh, let me get to that, right? So we found Lord of the Rings. We come in, he walks in, we click in, "You shall not pass!" Ta-da! And John's like, "Where'd you get that from?" "Oh, we sort of found it in your room." "Been in my room, right. First law of living with me, you do not..." And went mental. We planned it for about half an hour. I mean, I've never seen somebody react like that. That'd be horrible, wouldn't it? If you throw in them a surprise party and they're just kind of go, "I hate you all."
Well, no, that's it. It banks on you not having had a bad day, or do you know what I mean? If I get home is my place where I'm not, especially being in comedy. Comedy's about being. If you're in a bad mood, no one cares. You have a duty to your audience to be in a good mood, and it's the same with the radio show. You've got to, be optimistic. And when I get home, that's the time when if I'm in a bad mood, I just want to kick my shoes off, put my slippers on, cook a fish stew. Incidentally, we've had a request for the fish stew recipe, which I'll be putting on the website. Any chance you could read out the fish stew recipe, maybe put it on the website? I've got no real fire, but I do have radiators.
Well, let's go for that. Read it out now.
It would take a long time. I have to sit and think about it because it changes. I have to think about the one I cooked this week because it was the best one by a long chalk. How
great. We should do... Hey, we'll put that on the website every week.
My recipe of the week.
John's recipe of the
I'll
week.
Put the fish stew recipe on. Not really a stew. It's a spicy fish tomato broth. It's on, but because it's tomatoey, so you can have it with a red wine. But it's like spicy and quite light, so you can have it with a crisp white wine or have it with a nice beer. It's just unbelievable.
Next week,
I invented it.
Next week on Lonely Food, it always comes down to the drink that you can have with it. I don't think about food like that. I don't kind of go, oh, that's some Cocoa Pops, that'd be nice, I'll have that with wine. I just find myself thinking I'll eat that food and then move on. But you're like, right, what goes with that? What? White Russian, I'll have some of that.
Oh.
Yeah, let's not go there. John has just kindly got out some, we can't really describe the brand, but they're kind of like marshmallow tea cakes. You probably know who make them. They're very nice indeed. And John just got them out, got very excited, offered one to everyone. And Adam told us this fantastic story. He held up the tea cake and said, I once sent one of these to Gibraltar, which we thought was initially going to be an angry story, that he thought maybe the tea cake had taken over his life. And as a way of revenge, he was going to send it off to Gibraltar. One for Gibraltar, please. And yes, I packed it. But no, you didn't. You sent it to a mate of yours, didn't you?
To a girlfriend.
To a girlfriend.
She'd gone back to you. You know, at Easter break, you get a cool month off at Easter.
You do, yeah.
Uni. So we used to eat a lot of those things. It was just one of our things. So I sent her one as a present.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it?
I've done a couple of romantic things in my time.
Yeah.
Not many, but a couple.
What a wonderful... And Adam's about to leave the room. What a fantastic way to leave the room. Yeah, that got her through Easter.
What was it like when she got it though? Wasn't it squash?
Yeah, it was all manky. And to be honest, she'd gone off it. She was eating Gibraltar food and having the time of her life.
Yeah.
But
that's sort of a message for the end of a relationship. And yeah, you know the tea cakes we used to enjoy? There you go, eat that.
Yeah, that's horrible. Well, a lovely story, Adam.
Thanks for that.
See you later.
Love you, mother.
Oh, they are very nice, aren't they? Oh, very nice indeed. You got some very
I
nice
almost
ones.
forgot about them. 12:15.
Oh.
I'd had them for 11s.
We've had a really nice. We've had a lovely text in from Jo in Taunton. Things that make her happy. I really like this. She says, "I like to say hi, Steve, to every man I walk past. Whatever the response, it makes me laugh." I think that's great. Imagine that, Steve. All right, Steve. What's awkward? Because that's one of mine that I. If I see an animal, I have to say, hello, Mr. Dog, or hello, Mr. Pigeon. And the other day I was with somebody and I knew that I was going to have to say, hello, Mr. Dog, and there was 3 of the dogs. And it's just a really awkward situation. You know you're going to make a prat of yourself, but you finally say, hello, Mr. Dog, hello, Mr. Dog, hello, Mr. Dog. What was that about? Doesn't matter, it's fine.
You should have said, hello, Messrs. Dog, Dog and Dog.
Yeah, but either...
Giving it a Victorian
You can't do
feel.
it slick, you know... There's no way, you're just like a fool. I'm a big fan of happy-sounding words to discuss them with other people. Bumblebee is my favourite, but a mate of mine recently put a case, and they haven't put the rest of that text, which I probably should have checked beforehand. Hey, this is quite nice. Sam in Cambridge says, freewheeling down a steep hill on a bike. Oh, I haven't done that for years. I bet that's a good thing.
Do you know, I don't think I could do that anymore.
Yeah, you could.
No, I think I'd be too scared.
This week, what we're going to do, we're going to steal some kid's bike, and...
We can afford a bike.
Hey, we can. Let's get an Apollo 550.
Let's steal the bike of the guy who lives downstairs from us in the flat, who chooses to leave it in the middle of the corridor so that I keep knocking it over when I get back at all hours.
That's the saddest thing in our corridor. There's a toboggan.
Yeah.
That's never going to get used, and it's been there. And I noticed it arrived in December, and you just kind of went, "Yeah, you're not going to use that." It's really depressing.
Come
because
on, though, you live on an incline. I know that can get some use.
No way, mate. No, there's not going to be any snow. It's depressing. I still love snow. Anyways, we're talking about time travel today. Where would you go and why? John, where you going?
Well, I read a survey this week that said 62% of the population think that Britain is a worse place now than it was 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take everyone in the world back 5 years ago and then just go, nah. Because I don't think it was. I think we just know more now, and people are moody. So I'm going to take them back 5 years ago and show them a paper. Because I think people imagine that 5 years ago the paper said, oh, I think someone's found some pixie dust somewhere, and everything's all right, and there's no war. Everything was going on 5 years ago, and people are just idiots who, would rather live in the past.
How about you, Sam?
Failing that, I'm going to go back to some concert sometime and enjoy it.
Absolutely, we need to go happy. So this was the day that Pol Pot was overthrown. And also, the day of the first US presidential election. But what I've gone for is, on Wednesday, Christopher Columbus, while going to the New World, mistook 3 manatees. I don't know whether you know what manatees are. They're these sort of look like hippos with sort of smushy bulldog faces for mermaids. And I believe his exact quote was... not half as beautiful as they're painted. And so, therefore, the only place for him is a Big Brother house.
He followed that with A-lads.
Yeah.
There's a line in an Anthony and the Johnson song that goes, entertaining vanities in vain. And I always sing manatees. because I thought initially it was manatees, and for ages I thought, what's he getting at by implying that the population are manatees?
But apparently there is no, that's one of the things. There's no such thing as mermaids. But what they put it down to,
That's one of those things, isn't it, Ross?
but what they put it down to is the fact that it was pirates and sailors away from home for so long that they began imagining that animals and various things and fish that they saw were actually mermaids. So you just know that there should have been a really X-rated bit in Pirates of the Caribbean where everyone, look, it's a mermaid. No, John. Yeah, they did something unspeakable, man.
Yeah,
I watched Splash yesterday. God, that does weird things to you. I think that's the first time I felt sexual sort of when I saw her as a mermaid when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed near the fish counter at Tesco. It was horrific.
Is that why you tried to rescue that fish in Hong Kong?
Probably. Let's see what we can make of you, my pretty. Leave me alone. Right. I was thinking this week, time travel. I quite like to go back to the beginning of summer holidays when you were at school. So exciting that time, because like the 6 weeks you had was like this, just stretched off into the distance. No way it could possibly end. It was so exciting. You get up, you watch Saved by the Bell. Another one, I thought about going back to prehistoric times, dressed as a dinosaur, to answer John's question of whether they had religion, and just to find out what happened to them. So I'd need like a dinosaur costume for that, slip back.
You wouldn't know if they had religion, though, if you were just dressed as a dinosaur.
No, I'd get in amongst them. I'd give it a good 2 years.
Get in amongst them, would you?
All right,
chatting the old dinosaur lingo.
Yeah, all right, boys, how you going?
Chatting with Tony last night, he was giving it all.
Yeah, exactly. Tone's in a bad mood. T-Rex, why, can't scratch his belly. Just wandered up to him. I tell you what, that's a way. I wonder if there was an evolution bit of that, the dinosaurs, where, because they have the tiny hands, they couldn't scratch certain bits of them, whether the other dinosaurs realised and went, hey, don't eat us lot, and we'll scratch your bellies. All right? Is that a system?
Animals do that. Tortoises get fungus and little bacteria on the bits between their legs and their shells. So they just sort of hover up, lift their shells, and birds fly in and pick all the bits off.
But I really like the idea that there would have been that initial it's like when you do a new section. Oops. It's like when you do
producers just collapsed.
I was actually a tortoise in the studio that's annoyed that they've been rumbled. But there must have been
Whoops is a funny noise, isn't it?
Whoops is a cracking word.
Whoops.
But that initial bit when the tortoise had all the fungi on its legs and that, he must have lifted up its shell and kind of like sort of beckoned over to the bird with the eyes, and it's that awkward, and the bird's like, oh, do we? Are we allowed to? Yeah. But it's like the first bloke, it's like farmers are just perverts who got lucky. The first bloke to milk a cow. Oh. Where has that thought come from?
I want to see what these things do.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is just that thing going, here we go, oh, look.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly, but I'm going to drink it.
Do you not think they watched young cattle feeding from udders?
But even then, you've got to have a thought that says,
I've got to have a bit of that.
Milk coming out.
Yeah. Maybe that, but I prefer the idea of just some
boobs.
Some crazy ragamuffin who's just wandered across the land. That's mad job. What's he going to do today?
How many things do you think they milked by accident?
Well, exactly. That's it. It's like that bit in. I can't remember. How annoying is that?
Plenty of angry dogs, I think.
Yeah, oh, Jesus. We're talking about time travel. We've got one here from Adam in Northants. I go back to Abbey Road in 1966 to see the Beatles recording Revolver. What a record. Any chance of playing a track from it? We'll see what we can do.
That'll be next week.
There you go.
Crushing reality.
You're like one of those, the paperclip that appears in Microsoft or any other sort of software that you could use, but just appearing and just like putting anger into the world. That'll never happen.
I live in an honest world where, you see, if you say to him, we'll see what we can do, clearly we're not going to do it. So he listens to the rest of the show and he's disappointed at 1 o'clock, whereas I'm saying, of course we will, mate, next week. And then he enjoys this week's show and he enjoys next week's show.
All right, Adam, next week the opening song will be a track off of Revolver for you.
And do you know what, Adam? While Sam reads out his email that he's adding, I'm going to put that in my diary to email that through on Tuesday, so that definitely gets done.
We live in an honest world. What you got, Sam?
Damn straight. This guy would like to... It's from James Tatch, I should correct, and he has spelt Russell with one L, so don't try to hate him. If I could time travel, I'd go back to just before football was invented and teach it to the masses of old England. This way, not only could I look good at footy for a brief fleeting moment in my life, but I could also tell the people that tripping over your own feet and somehow missing an open goal was actually a really clever and skillful thing to do.
Cool.
That's pretty rocking.
And thus ruin the game of football.
Yeah.
Fair dues. God, I've had a bad couple of minutes, haven't I?
You're
Right,
angry.
Mardy. Well, we've had an email in from Les, right? Who, to be honest, sounds like he sees the world as I do and quite a moody, quite enjoying the fact that things go wrong and other people get grumpy. Because he says, to do with time travel and what would make him happy is the thought that in the future, we young whippersnappers will be tucking into our fish soup and complaining ourselves about how things aren't the same as they used to be when we were young. And that makes him happy, the thought that we're going to be unhappy in the future.
Yeah, but that's the way you like it, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
You listen to Russell Howard, hope you're very well, Six Music. I'm here with John and Sam.
Howdy, good afternoon.
Hello.
You've moved your mic away in an angry
Pushed
way.
my mic away in disgust earlier.
Hey, listen to this, John. This is from David. I had fish fingers plus trimmings on Christmas Day. Is John envious?
Fish fingers for Christmas Day?
Yeah.
No. Slightly
Okay.
disappointed.
Oh, this is quite nice. This is about happiness and kind of how my normal all mix into one. My mate's mum talks for her dogs, so I find myself having conversations with a pet Labrador called Drusilla. That's from Becca and Max in Brum. That's quite nice.
Fish finger. I hope they were homemade, like really nice fish and battered. Bird's eye fish fingers on Christmas Day.
There's no type
that's
of fish
upset-
finger
that's
that can
upset me,
rescue that.
Well, that moves in quite smoothly to what we do if we were God. So presumably you'd make it so that all fish fingers were homemade.
Well, no.
what
There's a
would you do?
place for there's a place for the frozen fish finger.
So what would you do if you were God then, John?
If I was God, I'm having.
Or an all-powerful deity? It doesn't have to be that one. Go on. What would you do?
Removable brains this week.
Okay.
So you can just take your brain out and put it in the fridge. Because I've been getting stressed. Ideas keep coming in your head, and you can't ever switch your brain off. You can't, even when you go to bed, and you're saying to your brain, just chill out for a bit. Your brain goes, right, now let's play a game where you're in school and it's on fire, and then it turns into a ladybird, and then you're dead, and then you're on a boat and you're playing football.
That's horrible,
That's
isn't it?
too much, and then you wake up and your brain goes, oh, should we have Cocoa Pops or toast?
See, my brain, in that moment, that's why I have to like play something or listen to the radio when I'm going to bed, because your brain just goes, oh, you haven't done this, have you? You haven't done this. Well, what are you going to do tomorrow? But the problem with putting your brain in our fridge is that our flatmate John is probably bound to eat that.
Yeah.
And the last thing you need is, to put your brain back in and then go, oh, God, I've got no concept of right or wrong, because he's chomped it, and you find yourself going on a killing spree.
There'd have to be special brain fridges.
Yes, correct. That's a fair point.
Because otherwise, once you've taken your brain out, you can't really function to go and get your brain. I mean, there's stumbling blocks.
What if you
But
put the
some
wrong brain in?
facility-
What if I leave my brain in the fridge and you put your brain, and I put my brain into your head, into my head? That's
I'd do some
love that.
damage
That
if
would
I
be
had your face, somebody, I tell you what.
what are you going to do with that?
Trick people into liking my ideas. If you have a pointy face and you say hateful things, people get angry at you. But if you're blonde and blue-eyed and you say
And you
hateful
have a
things-
round face, is what you're about to say there. You've gone from pointy.
No, I have a pointy nose.
You have a
and
lovely
slitty
face.
little eyes
Oh, here
that
he
say,
goes.
I'm angry, and I'll stab you about it.
No,
but
you-
you can
no, you
go,
don't.
I'm angry, but then don't forget there's badges, and everyone goes, ah,
Yeah, that's
good
exa-
old badgy badge.
I've seen your stand-up. Come on, you don't do that. Hello, who likes badges? He opens with. See, mine, if I was God, this is what I'd do. I was thinking about this, and it's kind of stolen, but it's a fair point. I'd make it so that we all have demons, like in Philip Pullman's Northern Lights trilogy. That's a fantastic one, isn't it?
Love it.
And I gave some thought about it as to what our demons would be. I've got yours, John. I think yours would be a lion, but with the side parting. And maybe a nectar card. And Sam's would be a drunk puffin.
Problem with what's yours?
Mine.
Talking monkey, let's be honest.
Yeah, I've written down monkey.
Yeah, of course you have, yeah. And then do you want a picture of it?
I have. I've done monkey and read it.
Are you doing a poo?
No, monkey doing a poo. I'm holding monkey's hand, laughing.
Problem with the Pullman world is it has to be the opposite sex
Yeah.
to you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and
So
the
my
opposite.
lion couldn't have a side parting because it wouldn't have a mane. It'd be a lioness.
Oh yeah, but you could make it so you could shave it.
I would
be a
shave the
Weimar
rest of
lioness.
my lion, yeah.
Well, you take a line with a side parting and a nectar card.
Oh yeah, damn right I would. Yeah.
Imagine that. But you're,
Take it round
it's kind of,
Sainsbury's.
but it's the opposite of you.
Yeah,
you're-
so it'd have to be the Pete Doherty of
well,
lions.
his demon would be like this kind of, maybe a lion wearing leathers.
It's not the opposite of you, is it?
But
I don't think that's the
Of
point.
the way you come across, I think, of your sort of exterior.
It's your deeper, the hidden bits.
brilliant, isn't it?
The bits that don't come out.
Oh, they better not ruin that film. I am properly looking forward to that.
Next
Fantastic.
Christmas.
Is it really? Yeah, Nicole Kidman as Miss Coulter. I think that's a good call. Who's doing Lyra, do you know?
I've no idea.
Unknown.
It'll be someone you haven't heard of.
Oh, that's exciting though, isn't it?
June Whitfield.
Oh, who's June doing it?
Yeah, I
Craig.
think they've got Whitfield.
Wouldn't that be
yeah.
great? hello. This is my demon. I shouldn't have been hiding there anyway. But they were going to tanta the tokai. And I've got another one here that I'd quite like it. My friend Steve suggested this, and you'll love this, is that people only get their... This is what I'd do if I was God. This is quite an angry one for me, but people only get their genitals when they reach a certain level of intelligence.
That's nice.
So I think it's a good idea. Hey, I got 3 Bs at A-level and my balls. You know, I think that makes sense.
You're setting it at 3 Bs, are you?
I said it. Well, I thought long and hard about that, and you know,
have the courage of your convictions and tell me in 3 A-level grades who does and doesn't deserve to have genitals. What is the cut-off point?
I'm going 3 Bs.
2 Cs and a D at A-level.
No, that was
no genitals.
That was a flippant point. Maybe GCSEs. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Because
so as soon as you get to A-level, you get genitals.
No. As soon as you see, it was my friend Steve's, and he said that a lot of things is caused by people being very angry and very thick. So if you get the ability to reproduce, what he's essentially promoting is a license for breeding, which I'm not.
It's difficult because you have to allow people to improve. I say, but
what's very interesting about that is that you're jumping upon this. I would have thought this would have had you as a man who wants a government-sponsored gun so he could go out killing people.
Yeah. No. Sterilising gun. Sterilise people.
Sorry.
Although, no, I would... there's a lot of people I'd shoot. I'll say that now. If I had immunity from the law...
That's what you would do if you were... Let's lighten it up. Sam, what would you do if you were God?
I'd have 12 children. 12 children, for obvious reasons. We're in January. Everyone's in a bit of a grump. You've got 12 kids. Maybe 6 at a push. So every 2 months, Christmas. Fantastic.
That's a very good idea.
They would, unfortunately, need to die in a horrible way. In a very symbolic way.
How is it Christmas if you have 12 kids? It's still Christmas when it's Christmas.
That's very true.
But why do we celebrate
And you've
Christmas?
just got 12 mouths to feed.
What's the spirit of Christmas? Well, if I'm God...
No, it's from the point of view he's God, not saying every person has 12 kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's saying...
Pretty deep, man. Pass me that doobie.
Yeah. It's amazing. But what else? I mean, you could give them all different characteristics. It'd be amazing. You could have the sort of slightly stupid one, the lazy one, obviously a couple of girls. It'd be quite
Are
nice.
you thinking of Snow White?
A little bit.
Yeah. Why am I not allowed to talk about shooting people? Why have we moved off that?
Oh, we can carry on if you want.
What would you shoot him with?
Gun?
Yeah, he wants a sterilisation
Big gun, small gun?
I want 2. I want a real gun and a sterilisation gun. The real gun I'm only allowed to use once a week, but I can shoot someone dead. And the sterilisation gun is for, say, people who I see using their mobile phones when they're driving. No kids.
Right.
Seen a lot of that going on this week, the old mobile phone and the old driving. Pack it in.
Right. What has this turned into now?
I feel like I'm on a roll.
It's normally, jumpy, happy, warm, fun show, and you literally want people dead for using their phone.
I want people sterilised for using them. You wanted them for failing GCSE English.
No, what I wanted, I was putting across my friend Steve's opinion.
Yeah, my friend Steve. We know you haven't got friends, and if you had, they wouldn't be called Steve. They'd be called Joshua.
Oh, that's a big accusation.
Unbelievable. We're nearly at the end of the show. Hope you have a fantastic Sunday. We've just been told to plug Music Week, haven't we, John?
Well, we've been having a chat with Imran about the Music Week. Good show.
It sounds really cool. They've got Nigel Godrich, who produced the Radiohead albums, and I think they've got an exclusive
Tom York track.
They have,
They've got album news, apparently.
And I can also reveal live and exclusive that Imran got slippers for Christmas.
Did he?
Yeah. But they haven't got backs, and I was saying I like slippers with back. I like baby and slippers with back.
And guns.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff.
Slippers have got to have a back on them.
I
like
just
slip out of them. I got a cracking pair of slippers this year.
I know. I've put Rice Krispies in them. Have you not found out yet?
Silence there. I felt like I should be saying something, but I just couldn't think of any words that weren't...
I was just... what we've just had is a moment where you got very angry because I found my hat in the studio.
Yeah.
Which I left there last week and went, oh, brilliant, there's my hat, and I've popped it on. And I could see your eyes going, that's not right. Because you're thinking in your head, he should learn. Let's sneeze like Donald Duck there. Don't he sneeze in a funny way? That always cheers me up. Oh, no. Oh, goodness. Oh, no.
I think I'm allergic to you wearing that hat.
Well, I'm keeping it on. But I found it, and... Are we going to sneeze again? Here we go.
Oh, I was until you said that, and now it's gone.
Disappointing.
I'd say we've got a bit
That
of
was going to be a cracker as well.
So what we got planned for the rest of the week? Don't forget, text us in 64046 or email russell.6music@bbc.co.uk with the things you think we can do this week. Any adventures you think we can go on. We'll chat about them next week. I'm starting my stand-up tour soon, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop around all the places that I'm touring, try and find something exciting to do during the day. How much fun will that be?
That would be rocky.
So I'm like, the quirky little things around, not like the boring kind of touristy things, but I think it'd be quite cool to go and find out little...
the whispered local attractions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know that,
It's
under the
really
pub?
good fun. No, I'm doing a gig in Canterbury, so if there's anything fun to do in Canterbury or anything like that, text us in. I think we're going to go to the a really nice restaurant. What's it called?
Fat Duck.
Yeah, there's this like that cooks like bacon and egg ice cream, isn't it? It sounds really like
Monsters.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun though.
Yeah.
Just something to do.
Dear do though, innit?
Oh, it'll be a dare do, John. It'll be a dare do. But that's pretty much the end of the show. Let's have a bit of Amy Winehouse, who you're a big fan of.
Oh, we're not, are we?
We're
not
not?
that song.
Lovely bit.
Oh, this one's not too bad. You Know I'm No Good.
Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, this is Amy's title about how she feels about her own music. It's You Know I'm No Good, right? I'm joking, Amy. If you're listening, how's your hangover?
BBC Six Music.